bench, coming off the bench now. Waiting for this moment, swinging for the fence now. Coming off the bench, coming off the bench now. Gotta get up, cause we about to get down. Coming off the bench, coming off the bench now. Waiting for this moment, swinging for the fence now. Coming off the bench, coming off the bench now. Gotta get up, cause we about to get down. Coming off the bench now. Waiting for this moment, swinging for the fence now. Coming off the bench, coming off the bench now. Gotta get up, cause we about to get down. Coming off the bench, coming off the bench now. Waiting for this moment, swinging for the fence now. Coming off the bench, coming off the bench now. Gotta get up, cause we about to get down. Coming off the bench now. Waiting for this moment, swinging for the fence now. Coming off the bench, coming off the bench now. Gotta get up, cause we about to get down. Coming off the bench, coming off the bench now. Waiting for this moment, swinging for the fence now. Coming off the bench, coming off the bench now. Gotta get up, cause we about to get down. We back again. I'm bouncing up before they count to 10. We back again. We back again. Tell your mother, brother, sister, and your friends. We back again. We back again. I'm bouncing up before they count to 10. We back again. We back again. Tell your mother, brother, sister, and your friends. We back again. I'm bouncing up before they count to 10. We back again. We back again. Tell your mother, brother, sister, and your friends. We back again. We back again. I'm bouncing up before they count to 10. We back again. We back again. Tell your mother, brother, sister, and your friends. We back again. I'm bouncing up before they count to 10. We back again. We back again. Tell your mother, brother, sister, and your friends. We back again. We back again. I'm bouncing up before they count to 10. We back again. We back again. Tell your mother, brother, sister, and your friends.
So hard to see the light. wanna get it crunk in the club, crunk in the club, with a crunk in the club, crunk in the club, crunk in the club, crunk in the club, with a get it crunk with a couple hundred thugs. Crunk in the club, crunk in the club, with a crunk in the club, crunk in the club, crunk in the club, crunk in the club, with a get it crunk with a couple hundred thugs. Everybody round, everybody round, everybody round, everybody round here. Everybody round, everybody round here. Know we getting hype. Everybody round, everybody round, everybody round, everybody round, everybody round here. Know we getting hype. We wanna get it crunk in the club, crunk in the club, with a crunk in the club, crunk in the club, crunk in the club, crunk in the club, with a get it crunk with a couple hundred thugs. Crunk in the club, crunk in the club, with a crunk in the club, crunk in the club, crunk in the club, crunk in the club, with a get it crunk with a couple hundred thugs. Everybody round, everybody round, everybody round, everybody round here. Everybody round, everybody round here. Know we getting hype. Everybody round, everybody round, everybody round, everybody round, everybody round here. Know we getting hype.
coming off the bench now. Waiting for this moment, swinging for the fence now. Coming off the bench now. Gotta get up, cause we about to get down. Coming off the bench now. Waiting for this moment, swinging for the fence now. Coming off the bench now. Gotta get up, cause we about to get down. Coming off the bench now. Waiting for this moment, swinging for the fence now. Coming off the bench now. Gotta get up, cause we about to get down. Coming off the bench now. Waiting for this moment, swinging for the fence now. Coming off the bench now. Gotta get up, cause we about to get down. We back again. I'm bouncing up before they count to 10. We back again. Tell your mother, brother, sister, and your friends. We back again. I'm bouncing up before they count to 10. We back again. Tell your mother, brother, sister, and your friends. We back again. I'm bouncing up before they count to 10. We back again. Tell your mother, brother, sister, and your friends. We back again. I'm bouncing up before they count to 10. We back again. Tell your mother, brother, sister, and your friends. We back again. I'm bouncing up before they count to 10. We back again. Tell your mother, brother, sister, and your friends. We back again. I'm bouncing up before they count to 10. We back again. Tell your mother, brother, sister, and your friends.
6 teams remain for day number 3 of Valorant Game Changers LCQ. So the pressure is on. Who will continue to tell the stories are your casters. My name is Donut and with me is Xeaora. And today is going to be an exciting day. How are you feeling today, Seiya?
I mean, definitely excited because, again, this is a fight for their tournament journey right here. We have Donut. This is going to be their spot, and we are going to identify who gets to advance here in towards our Valorant Game Changers, the APAC Series Last Chance Qualifier. So, Donut, why don't you give us a quick recap of what happened from the previous matches?
Actually, yesterday was such a day of fire. Basically, X Team BO lives on against the team of VCT, and then the team of ARF Starlight continues to shine and eliminates the former elite contender Big Sight. Actually, the team today who will be fighting Black Magic shows us how to use their powers because they got a 2-0, and for X10 Sapphire, they won against W Streak FE. So now, W Streak FE is down in the brackets. But a little bit of a recap of how VCT Game Changers APAC does operate. There were a lot of stages that the teams went through. The first stage is all of the 4 opens. Now we get to overtime, wherein we awarded 3 teams the slots. And now it is the last chance. And 2 slots are out in the open. What do you think will happen, Seiya?
Well, again, anything can still happen here, Donna, but here are the qualified teams. For the elite, we do have from the Open Alter Ego Celeste, who's been very much standing tall in the pedestal, followed by Brand Esports Victress, and of course Team SMG. And in towards Open Overtime, we do have Orangutan, Zolmaraki here, and as well as Enigma Galaxy, if I'm not mistaken. And here we do have the last chance qualifiers that we are going to determine who is going to elite alongside with our big ladies. And just respectively, here are the registered teams here as well in towards the whole series.
Yeah, there were a lot of teams who registered. It was quite heartbreaking for some of them because only 8 teams have advanced to the playoffs, and as mentioned, 2 were already dropped. Yesterday, we're also do or die series, and we have to say goodbye to the team of Big Scythe and Madness Zen, and the rest of the 6 teams. We have to still say hello, but today is also do or die because W Streak and Black Magic will go head to head. X and Sapphire still lives on. ARF Starlight, Basisix, and X Team BO. So those were the heartbreaking stories that we saw yesterday, but still, it's more motivation for them to continue on because, of course, the qualified teams, the first and the second, will get $1,200 USD each per team. So that is a big lion's share of the prize pool.
Definitely, and of course it is disseminated respectively in towards the 3rd up to the 8th place. So just a little bit of consolation, but of course it's not just about what they are going to get as a prize pool, but of course as well their spot to really get in towards the elite. And I'm pretty sure, I mean, you and I are very much excited, and as well as the people that are watching right now. So don't forget to share the live stream, by the way, guys. And here we do see the brackets respectively, seeing how the journey went on for the registered teams here at the LCQ upper bracket. We do see Basics already making their way there, but of course to be defeated by X and respectively. But now in towards the lower bracket, as we have mentioned here, we're only gonna have a 1 match for tonight here, and it's going to be between Black Magic and of course Winstrike as well. This is the match 9 that you see right here. But I do want to ask you though, Donut, what are your expectations here for both sides of the teams? What are their different factors or unique factors that really differ them from one another?
Most of the matches of W Streak, they have been very, very clean. The trio of Noxy, Rosie, and as well as Nuki, right? We've seen them before, and at least that consistency of them being the trio means that they're in it for the fight. They're in it for the long run, and W Streak has that. But Black Magic, the reason why they're called Black Magic is they have that prowess. They have that power in the map to turn things around, because there have been mistakes, but the quick thinking and the quick-wittedness of this team actually is their X factor. So I wouldn't really say that one is gonna be a more heavily favorable than the other, but it all boils down to the map selection actually, because both of these teams, they actually prefer different types of maps. Black Magic actually prefers these smaller maps, while as compared to W Streak, Winstreak, they want these bigger and open spaced maps wherein they can play around with the strategies, they can mix and match all of their utilities. And I guess this is gonna be different because the play styles are very, very opposing from one another.
I mean, I will be agreeing with you on that. And just looking at the quick stats right here as well. I mean, not really getting in towards a technicality, but here we do have the roster for Team Black Magic. We do have 1,000 Miles, Muva, Wish, Sirius, and Panics here. I do hope I got that correctly. But again, these girls, they do have the mystery effect here, Donut. As again, in terms of stats, they haven't really played much in towards the whole series, but of course they are leaning into the green. So you have mentioned here that they do like the maps that are quite they're quite diverse here, to say the least, but they do have some favorites, in which is the more compact maps in which they can utilize later on into our map veto. But of course, their opponent here, W Straight Female, Cupcake Cake, Rosie, Dolph, Nuki, and Noxie, we have seen them very much as in considered as veteran players as well. And again, if the synergy goes, they will get that momentum and pop off. What interests me for these ladies as well, though, is that, again, you also mentioned it, Donut, that in terms of map selections, they're quite different from each other. So I feel like the map veto that they're gonna have is something leaning towards the respective teams.
I mean, when it comes down to the teams, right, we all know the W Streak are a team that are finding their stride. A little bit of a mix and match there for how they showed up all throughout the stages, right, all throughout the opens. They showed up for different organizations, but probably now is their best time to really gear up and vault in, because it's gonna be do or die. If they don't show up now, then they can lose to the team of Black Magic, who has less experience when it comes to these tournaments, but are pretty solid when it comes to individual play. What I noticed about W Streak is they really have their strength in numbers. When they all play together, they seem so unstoppable. But when it comes down to the team of Black Magic, as I mentioned, individually, they're very highly skilled. They have their prowess within the map. And all I could really say is the player to watch out for Black Magic is Mauve. Mauve is a flex player. She can be a Reina, she can be a Sky, and no matter what type of agent she selects, she does deliver, and she shows up with stats. And yesterday, she was consistently an MVP.
Indeed. So, of course, with that being said, that is going to be one of the objectives coming in from W Strike Female, is to, because Black Magic has this certain individuality, maybe they could force out the members to actually group together for potential collaterals. And of course, knowing that W Strike Female here, they're already the synergy, we don't really have a question to that at this point. I guess it's just more on really choosing how they get their fights done, and as well as the timing can really lean into their favor. But for W Strike as well, I think it's at least for both sides of the team, I think it's more on countering out both their strengths and weaknesses. And as we've mentioned already here, Donut, we do already have the map veto, Black Magic versus W Strike. Ascent, one of the favorites of, if I'm not mistaken, Black Magic as well. They've been really having good performances here, followed by Haven, and I assume this could be on side of W Strike. The defenders here for side of Black Magic, and finally the decider map is going to be Breeze. What are your expectations here, Donut?
Well, Black Magic bans Fracture in Icebox, and these are the favorites of the W Streak. As I mentioned before, they've had a lot of success in these bigger maps, and the ability for them to mix and match and combine all of these utilities in one map is one of their strengths. And BMG actually strategically banned these because they practically know how W Streak will play. And at the same time, because I mentioned they have opposing playstyles. W Streak bans where Black Magic have had a lot of success, and that's going to be in Split, and that's going to be in Vine. Probably they've done their research, they've seen how Black Magic will play, so taking away those maps is going to be a big advantage, and that's why they're going to go to Ascent, Haven, and as well as a neutral one, which is Breeze. So the decider will probably really become its own, right? It's the decider.
Indeed, of course. But again, I'm pretty sure both of our teams really want that sweep as much as possible. So at least for the side of Black Magic, if they do want to make this work for them, they do have to win their game number one map. But this is the thing, Donut. Haven is something we have yet to see for Team Black Magic. In terms of stats, they still have none that we could showcase or that we could really determine on which side are they leaning onto. So this is technically the first exposure that we're going to witness them. And the thing is, for the side of W Strake, they have a history in this map. It is quite even. You know, against six matches, it's a 3 out of 3. So it's quite shaky for them. But the fact that they do have some sort of experiences here, and of course they have been, I'm pretty sure, practicing. Hence why this map is actually, in towards their games in the first place. So I feel like, in terms of, I guess the side could depend on their overall performance. But for Black Magic, I'm pretty excited to see how their performances are going to be as well, simply because they're quite new. They're a fresh name here as well into our LCQ.
I mean, you mentioned it. Actually, Black Magic always will ban Haven if they get a chance to do so. But unfortunate for them, one of their good maps, W Streak, they just took it away in just a snap. The first ban that W Streak had to do was was split, and Black Magic, they showed us really the magic there, because initially it was a lead against their opponents, but they turned things around. It's something that they know. It's something that they can do. And W Streak just really had big brains in banning that out, and that leaves Haven in the picture. So at least in terms of experience, Black Magic, for sure they've had a little bit of practice, but them banning this out just means something that they might probably have not much confidence going into this map, or W Streak just really wants to steal game number 2 away. But at least for Ascent, Black Magic, as mentioned, they have a great way of showing themselves here, because Mauve as the Reina in Ascent, probably it's not a conventional pick, right? That unconventionality of selecting a Reina is actually something that was an X factor in them to win a map.
Indeed. And of course, again, for Mauve here, of course, the objective for her is to basically give all of those spaces for the team to really enter the site. And this is the interesting part, because you did mention, because of Black Magic having this good amount of individuality, skill wise, I feel like this Haven map could work for them, to say the least, because they do really excel individually. So they could capitalize on their flanking capabilities, especially if they are on the defender side per se, because in the map Veto, if I'm not mistaken, they are going to start it off with defense. So maybe they can. Oh, the thing is very blurry right now. There you go. So they can really utilize this defender-sided map, especially with all of their capabilities. And of course, for the side of W Strike, I feel like you did mention it as well, that they did their homework. So I feel like in terms of their attacks, rush pushes or aggressiveness is going to be expected here, coming in from them, and maybe some quite amount of mind games that can come from the team, because a diverse team like W Strake, their roles are very diverse, and they can really flex.
I mean, in terms of the flexibility of the team as well, of W Streak, if you look at the stats even previously, especially for the trio, because I think they had the most experience here in Valorant Game Changers, right? Nuki, Noxy, and Rosie, whenever they would move to a team, they would embrace a different role. And probably that experience would also lead to a type of mastery. In terms of that, like, stacking up that experience will lead you to more exposure, more of that mastery of the map. So probably it's not just about the agent that they are comfortable in, but also the type of awareness that they can get whenever they would go into a map like Ascent. That's something that they're not really entirely comfortable with from the very beginning.
It's really more on how their playstyle is going to be right here. And I feel like sometimes there are more things for both of our teams that they can really still dish out in towards the table. Because again, if this is, I think this is the best time for them to actually bring it out, since this is their spot that they are going to fight for. So I feel like the battle strategy, to say the least, for Black Magic here is to just try and be adapt to whatever W Strike has to offer them, especially in Haven. Because Ascent, okay, I'm pretty sure that they do have a fighting chance here as well against W Strike, who has such a very long exposure to the map, but then again, it's quite the shaky as well. So in terms of game number 1, I wouldn't have any problem with Black Magic here. But in terms of their Haven is the thing that I am worried about, because if not, then I feel like W Strike could literally get that W.
I mean, I think another X factor here is who will play the map. At least for W Streak, what I've noticed for them, because they have 6 members, they easily assign a team member to a map instead of assigning the main 5, right? The versatility and the preference for the map is also considered. So at least for Dolph, I think Dolph is also a great member of the team for W Streak. She's shown a lot of consistency, and if she is here in the map of Ascent, that will actually bring down the type of player like Move. So her as the Raze and against a Move that is gonna be selecting the Reyna, so that's gonna make all of the difference. But Dolph is actually gonna check in the chamber.
I mean, for Move, it's already a staple. If she does get the hands on the Reyna, then she'll definitely do it, and she'll really try her very best to not just really be the duelist for the team, because Panic is also there. So I feel like Mube is also going to do her job trying to glue the members together over here. But for the side of W Strike, again, for the three ladies, they have already known their stuff. So I guess it's just about who gets to outplay who first.
Definitely. I think PannyX just joined the team yesterday. I mean, in terms of the server, right? She didn't really play during the first day, but PannyX in the server really brings a lot to the table. Her combat score is pretty high based on the stats, and her amount of delivery as a duelist to assist Move can actually bring a lot to the table and offer a lot to the team. Now that we are starting off here in Ascent, it's gonna be quite hard. At least Black Magic, they're gonna play back. They're assuming a little bit of a push here as the haunt is thrown, but there is no push. A little bit of a scary situation here. Sirius tries to get a peek out, but it's actually Dolph instead bringing down Move. As mentioned, the head-to-head is seen now.
And of course, that play for them. You want to really get that information going. So right now we are going to see Smoke going for a right click, but it's gonna be one, not gonna be another, as Miles, 1,000 Miles will be refragging for her team, and now it's up to the 3 to make things work. Spike is planted, extra economy back here. Topic and the others will go for full-on retake. This could success if they don't know where the chamber is, but right now Nuki and Noxy, beautiful trade for the team, was able to again corner them out together in towards B side, and that is where we do see Black Magic kind of faltering.
Team Ace.
Yeah, I mean, when it comes down to the initial pickoffs, right? Sirius tried her best to go out of mid and try to get somebody there towards Pizza, but no, it was actually Dolph to get the first one out, and that signaled the rest of the team members, okay, let's try and go B. We don't really want to risk anybody else going mid, but then that was just all a trap. One went down to the defense of W Streak, and at the end of it, they didn't even let the spike plant go ticking. They eventually went Ram, and they got the win.
Indeed, and of course, right now, again, another attempt right here for the side of the MG. Them really trying to create a lot of presence towards B, but let's see how things are going to go for here, because right now, in terms of weaponry, though, we do see WSF really on the good side here. Of course, they have one pistol, so again, this is, I feel like, a delayed push coming in from BMG because they do want them to separate. That is the objective here. So right now, what do you think, Donut? Can BMG do to actually win this round away from WSF?
Well, 1,000 Miles actually has a sheriff, so that has the fragging capability. But with how the team is positioned now, they go all out towards A, towards short. There is an opportunity to get the kill, but Nuki actually gets it. Gets a second dink. But no kill just yet, but it is a good one. Damage done, 1 HP. But still, she wants to be rejoined with her teammates. An opportunity for her to still survive for this round.
They can use Nuki as
30
bait
seconds
at
left.
this point right here. They do have an idea that there are people in mid link. Again, you mentioned very beautiful dink. 2 members of BMG already on the low, and it's just more on patience game for them, honestly. Beautiful deny of intel here coming in from Cupcake as well. So it's really making it difficult
10
for
seconds left.
and that's the flash right here. That's one not making
enemy
a
remaining.
beautiful spray
Spike
from
down
Nuki to
A.
get that 4K.
And it's a possible ace. Both of them so low, but who will get the first kill? That's actually her. And she gets the ace. Nuki to deliver the first ace for tonight, and well deserved. Her aggression was rewarded, and it wasn't punished otherwise.
It was actually, also morale boosting and starting off the, lower brackets here, at least our night, with an ace. Really beautiful back there from Nanuki. And take note, that is 1 HP and the dream. And it came through. And you can really assess here, Donut, the amount of control that Nuki has here because of the experiences gathered.
Yeah, I mean, the Spectre, it's not going to be a disadvantage. I'll play it close, and she did. Another try for Noxie to deal a lot of damage, but it just drives them away. No kill just yet, but Dolph actually gets one. Fanny X is out. Noxie as well. 1,000 Miles tries to get a trade, and Move as well. A 2 for 2. But Move, she's still waiting. But
She doesn't know.
whew,
She
barely
doesn't
missed.
know.
She doesn't know.
So that Nuki's in the back, beautiful.
Spike down B.
And Sirius gets the trade, but it's only a 1v2 team fight, suppressed as well. So this is gonna be a bit tricky for Sirius here. A lot of good passes happening. A double peek might happen as well. Beautifully done by both Cupcake and Nuki, securing their third
friends.
At this point, W Streak, they've been really successful with the opening kills. And whenever there's one, it all just snowballs and it just really goes in their favor. With picked up rifles, W Streak was able to successfully bring down that full buy with just Marshals, with just these Bulldogs against the Vandals. And now, look at the economy. Black Magic doesn't really have enough to use for this round, probably Sheriffs, but we've seen them deal with a lot of Thrifties. It's very possible, but at this point with W Streak commandeering the map, I don't really think they can be able to win this.
It is definitely difficult because, again, one weapon free for the side of WSF Nuki with the 2K, but that's not free as 1,000 Miles really taps Nuki on the head right here, really making the best out of that Sheriff right now. So work, but 1,000 Miles, they get a double with the Phantom that as she stole away from Nuki. It is a 3v3. Now take note though, Dolph with a brink of HP right now here. Donut right now. Spike is planted. For BMG, this could be their goal unless WSF has something to say about it. The drone was able to actually spot out the location of Noxie right now, so it's all up to timing. Prowler, we do see a jumping Dolph, Sirius rather, in towards the A main, going in as well, trying to double peek them at the moment. Beautiful.
Last player
Rosie
standing.
as well, securing A main as well.
One
Double
enemy
peek as
standing.
well, but right now, Fanny X with a double only to be sniped by Dolph
Teleport's
here,
ready.
and with a time as well to get that spike.
No fireworks today, I'm
Who would have
afraid.
thought that Dolph with 5 HP is the one to win out the round, right?
Yeah.
I mean, when you look at all of the HPs and all of the kills that were happening on the board, You would think that Dolph would be the first one to go down, but no, she was the one to secure that one. But what's great about this round is the ability of Rosie and Noxy to be able to isolate them one by one. Paniac, so that was a winnable one. But facing the operator of Dolph is something else, and that causes BMG for a timeout. Let's just really discuss what went wrong there, because 4 rounds with a win streak, 4 win streak, that's gonna be scary.
I mean, I will agree with you on that. And this is actually a good call for BMG to call for this timeout, simply because it's not working for them. Whenever they do try to attempt to take the site, or mid specifically, if you notice, they didn't really have the rush push in towards A or B. They took time, or they delayed their attempted push before anything else. So I feel like it's not working out for them, because if you notice, the crosshairs coming in from the ladies of WS is already pre-aimed. It's already anticipated. They actually know where they would go. And if not really know, it's more of them, placing them in there because of all of that utilities. So right now, the dance is really being led by W Strake at the moment. But if Black Magic could really find that kryptonite here for their side, maybe try to be a bit more aggressive now that they do have
When it comes down to the dance, right, it's gonna be a cha-cha, an immediate forward push here by Penny X to trade out her teammate. And that was just what? 3 seconds into the round, an immediate action here. But right now, everything has slowed down. As you mentioned, I think it's also the play for the utilities within the map, right? Information gathered for the fade here for Rosie, and as well as 1,000 miles for Sova. But that didn't really bring them anything else, except that the positions that they tried to recon for were actually empty. So that gives them a clue where they currently are. But at least Noxy here has a false sense of comfort. But Rosie's gonna be ready. It's gonna be just peek. Gets a kill. Rosie's there, up for the hump. And actually, Penny X is gonna go down. The spike is down.
That was so smart coming in from both Noxy and Rosie. Rosie knows that Noxy is going to be quite stuck in towards Wine. So what she did, she used the Prowler to bait, and that is going to force out basically Wish to really fall back. And the entry, the timing from Noxy is just too real. Oh, going to be kicked out, but something secures it and take the off as well. But then going back there, Donut, the amount of synergy that we see here for WS is really surreal.
Yeah, I mean, the Prowler sent out a sense of distraction. Wish gazes her eyes on there, and Paniac, she thinks she's safe, but Rosie is out there for the chase in 1,000 miles here. Just was left all alone, and with 4 left for her to kill it, I think that wasn't enough. The timeout didn't really work out well for them. They're already on another save round. W streak, I mean, they have a 5-round win streak at this point.
I mean, in terms of weapons, there you go. See, Dolph really working wonders for this operator, and as well as the other teammates. The good thing about WS right now is that they do not really...
One less.
Dolph just goes and sees the arm, and bam. That is going to be another snipe coming in from her. And the good thing, again, about WS is they do not really overextend, because they wait for the peak to happen from BMG, but instead of really pushing for it, they just shutting them down. Position themselves in a way where
you want to play? Let's play.
And look at that. With the help of Nuki's Depress right there, was so much information. Although it was only mobile, so he just put here. And look, Airfield, but not enough as he takes that breakdown.
One enemy remaining.
Rosie and Nuki to finish it off with a flawless round here for the side of the Blue Streak.
I loved how Rosie used that Prowler. It was more of like a shield, and at that point that you're using a Sheriff and there's a big Prowler coming at you, you can't really see your opponent at all. And I think what's really great about this are also I think I mentioned this a couple rounds back. It's also the opening kill advantage of W Streak. Because at this point, Black Magic, whenever they would peek out, they lose the duels early on. Yes, there will be trades, but eventually, favor goes in for W Streak. They want to move fast, but immediately shut down there by the Nightfall. They won't go anywhere. It is closed with that Nebula in place. They can't move forward at all.
This is the ideal gameplay for the side of WS to really corner out the members of BMG. And if you look at this, they're already being rattled. They're having hesitations whether to enter because at any point in time, WS can just dish out their utilities here. So they are able to get into what's here right now. Looks like what's there, but was able to bring down the Rosie there. Getting back
down.
for the trade. A little bit of a whip there as move on with the chance for the push drop the off, and the rendezvous out is enough to secure the trade. And that's going to be a 6-0 once more for only Wish.
Last player standing.
Throw with the wall back from the thing, and just like that, taking advantage of Furious
blasting them.
was able to take it to clean or patch things up. This is just really your Nuki day.
Definitely a Nuki day, and unfortunate
Anyone
day
feeling
for
generous?
Black Magic
Thank you.
because Sirius
Thank you.
was
Anyone
supposed to
thank
be
you.
watching
Thank
that
you.
lane, but because of the pressure, there were jiggles towards stairs and there were jiggles towards lane. And that was just unfortunate because they thought they had the plant already, and Anuki just hearing that, she didn't even falter, she didn't even really resist, she just decided to build planter, and Panny Eggs though, now the first kills go in favor of Black Magic.
That was actually a good shutdown coming in from Panny X. That's one of the spaces that they needed. Are they able to make it all the way to secure the round? Because right now, 1,000 Miles is trying her best to make that happen.
Well, 1,000 Miles though, she is low, and they are primed for this 8-take. The defense for Cupcake is good for one. Move takes one, and the plant is going to be secured. But there's still four for this retake to happen. Rosie
One
gets
enemy
a
remaining.
sneak, but Sirius secures that kill, and now it's down to Rosie. She does have a lot of utility, but I don't really think this is gonna be enough. And Wish is behind her. Rosie make a wish, she gets one. But behind her is actually Wish to secure the kill. BMG gets their first round on the board.
Finally making things work for the side of BMG, at least for that specific round. So that quickly take a big kick to open it up. Mova as well for the site, and I feel like this is more on the position for the side of BMG. And with I was about to say earlier that Rosie was about to try and play for the flank, but then again, the double flank is happening because Wish is from the behinds coming in from B. So I feel like that was a bit of a miscomms, to say the least, for the side of WS. Because their positions, I feel like they were the ones sandwiched in towards A. And because one of the good opening, which is taking away Dolph, especially with the with the care of Panny, is that it opened literally the way for them to try and shake things off, giving them the stealth to which side they're actually going to, because we do see earlier that Wish was able to go in towards B, so a certain amount of noise could be there, making the late rotate for both the Fade, which is Rosie, and if I'm not mistaken, it was I think it was Noxy together with the Rosie earlier. I wasn't really sure. But
it was Noxy.
Yeah, it was Noxy. So because of that, it made the late response, and it paved the way for Black Magic to get that first point.
Yeah, and even when it comes to the defense, the anchorship of Dolph here in A, right? That's what really matters. And her being able to take down or take the first bloods is very important. But if she goes down first, then immediately the defense is really shattered here. There was an intention for Cupcake to try and hold down the site, but it wasn't enough because there were three people coming at her, and that wasn't just enough. And now Rosie here goes in the Prowler, but Noxy immediately confirms there are two there by market. What are you gonna buy? because their shop is closed and now they immediately take comfort here at the back of the site.
I feel like WS is being a bit of an aggressive there, but of course the discipline, it was actually pretty well there as they do compensate it, starting it off with Dolph again with the first blood, not really creating the same mistake twice.
Enemy down.
And again, Rosie for the second take here, making
Catch
things
them.
into a 5v3.
30 seconds left.
Timing is working as well. Once again, for WS, they may have their footing on the ground. Once again, Rosie with the smoker.
Last player
Really
standing.
the difficult position. Real moves to the one wish for the trade, but then again, Moxie secures this 8 point, and I feel like the timeout really worked for WS.
Yeah, they were intending a coordinated push here at B. But immediately, that null command from Nuki made everything stop. They couldn't really throw in the smokes. They couldn't throw out the leer. So everything just stopped. I mean, the world just stopped for 5 seconds. And then when they wanted to get in towards the site, there wasn't really any opportunity anymore because Rosie has already repositioned towards the back of the site. There was also that Noxy play there towards Boathouse. So even if they got to B, it would still be a hard time for them to successfully plant the spike.
I have the
I
spike.
love the discipline, to say the least, coming in from the members of BMG. If you notice that the time is looked at the window, we just to see if there are any utilities to be drawn. Now they're trying to negate that, and as you mentioned, the null command is just too real. It's really denying the likes of BMG, which is very much utility oriented, and that 5 seconds, as you mentioned, is detrimental coming in from WS because it kind of secures it, to say the least, and it really rattles up the original strategy that can come from back management.
Out of
Yeah, but the
charges.
strategy is to go on and head out for the push. But immediately a nightfall called in for Noxy. Gets one and where would you go? Noxy gets a triple. And now immediately the defense is on point with Nuki to kill the last one. And it's a flawless for W streak.
See how we did say Noxy again with that spray. The spray transfer was surreal. Rosie here securing Silver one down. That's gonna be one. Make it a 2. Not gonna stop there. Make it a 3. But the problem there is that because they are their vision, or basically their audio cues, are denied from them because of Rosie's nightfall as well. It really paved the way for Noxy to just take advantage of that. The mistake, or at least issue here, is that PMG still pushed, and because they pushed, it wasn't really your ideal double peak triple. It was 1 by 1, and that is not an ideal scenario. So right now, you see again another ace here, but Stop flying up ahead of Mobile here quickly denies one of their entries, and now in towards the struggle. To pull up Fanny and takes one nuke for the trade as well. Serious though will be taking Nikki down, but having Cupcake to say something about it to dwindle everything to a 2v3. And now with a bit of a paranoia back there in a
One enemy remaining.
Moxie using the groundwork of Panic to rain here with for the trade, but Cupcake once more from the backside secures their
Find you. Last round before the switch.
The continuity of their utility usage here is just so insane.
And it all boils down to the space that they have already taken. Wish was able to get away from all of the crosshairs of W Streak, but at that point, that there were 2 people remaining on the site, and they can't even plant the spike. Yes, Wish was able to smoke out short, and another security thereby held.
You want to play? Let's play.
W Streak already knows where you are, then they're gonna just really figure out and kill you one by one. Wish did get one on the way, but gonna be Dolphy again. The first kill potential in this map for Dolph is so high, and 1,000 Miles wants to get another kill, at least one for her, but it's a 2-for-1.
That was the null command still suppressing out 1,000 Miles. Enough to get that intel for Cupcake and the Prowler as well here, trying to be a little bit careful in towards that corners. They are entering A though, so they may go for the plant towards Jenny, or generators if you may. Dolph here with a tour de force, already pre-aimed in towards, or actually Sirius here already pre-aimed in towards heaven for the post line, but Noxy really obliterated 1,000 miles once again. Prowler, 2 minutes of vision, deny vision from Sirius as well, making the fall back. This is going to be the defense right now because of the Cosmic Divide. The audio queue is not going to be heard as much. Sirius has to go in at this point, but it's going to be confused. Not enough time. Could have saved the gun instead. Again,
Switching
Rosie
sides.
says no.
I mean, that was just beautiful use of utility, at least here for Dolph. The tour de force online for the ultimate gets one. Immediately though, 1,000 miles just wanted to try and get a hold of a site. But the most beautiful ultimate for that round was the Cosmic Divide. Them creating that wall between their opponents was actually something else. They just diffused it, they stuck it, they weren't even worried about it because everything else, Sirius, she might actually cross through, but she will be caught out by the hands of W Streak. Such great first half for W Streak, but Black Magic, they have to show us what they've got. Ascent initially was something that we talked about that might go in favor of Black Magic just because of their X factor and the ability for them to show up with individual plays. But that's immediately shut down by the team play, the combination of the fade and as well as the KO. Seems that retakes, very, very possible. Always going to be on point. The clutch factor, the first kill factor of Dolph in this map is just so great. It's always going to be 100% success. I mean, sorry, she was shut down by PannyX for one round, but that was just a great showing for W Streak.
I mean, to be fair, for both sides of the teams, it is quite seen how they do take their fights here. It's already evident, to say the least, for the first half that W Streak does not go in without someone securing another kill or getting that refrags going on. And their trades are basically on point here for the side of WS, that if ever they do die in vain, it's not going to be, because there is going to be someone there to back them up. And the thing is, once they do, the amount of intel that they provide from themselves with the help of their utility is something that you have to take consideration as well. For the side of Black Magic, however, they have been having the struggles to really counter that out, simply because, number one, they are quite rattled in terms of entering the sites, because again, they are utility-based composition. Because of the null command coming in from Nuki, it's denying that aggression, and they can't really do much about it unless they do have that double or triple peak going on. But the thing is, because the likes of Noxy or Nuki or even Rosie, to say the least, that they are able to really get that spray control going and transfer it in a way that they're getting those 3 heads. Those triple peaks are not really working for Black Magic.
I mean, the ability for them to trade out is impossible because Dolph has the rendezvous. Nuki will immediately throw in that suppression, and Rosie just throws out the Prowler as an action to really shut down that response from Black Magic. Now that they are going to be on the defense, though, we want them to show up. They're practically very attacking sided composition, but BMG, they try to go for the offense here towards B, but A is something that's super open, and W Streak have already got in sight.
Again, this is something very interesting. Knowing that they are defenders, the usual play is that just stay on your ground and wait for a presence to happen. And here again, you see coming in front of BMG here. I think they don't know. For the foot of the box, they're copy taken from beautiful. And again,
One enemy remaining.
For the trade, but here, into more help, really making it difficult for 1,000 miles. You're not really going to as this is already match point for WS.
Match point.
Such a quick round, though, at least, because that was a good risk for them to take. at this point, if you're down to 1 and that's a big lead, you would want to really take these risks that you would want to go your way. But that risk of pushing out B wasn't something that they expected. The rest of win streak, they're there on A, and immediately they knew and heard that there was going to be a two-woman flank. And that was immediately shut down by Cupcake and Dolph. So they don't just cover the attack, but also cover a lot of ground here in the map. And map control is what you want here in Ascent. And unfortunately, Black Magic, they don't really have it.
To be fair though, for Black Magic, I do see the sense of, self-support that I feel like
Taken out.
too late. That could be 1 over 1,000 miles. It could be another. No! Whips it out as Nox and takes it down with the ghost here and really making space to take that plant in towards B site. Now post-plant position, we're ready for double quest. But 3 takes the. However, let's see how it goes as Panny X really takes timing towards the marker mark, knowing. Well, the Molding up.
One enemy remaining.
Qualifier as well as Experience will be taking the headhunter.
Attackers win.
And as seen here, Rosie and it really clears it out. Game number 1. So goes W straight.
I mean, the W doesn't really stand for the win. It stands for holding W, even in the post plan.
Yeah.
In those situations, you would just really want to say, okay, stay on your ground and just wait for them to run through the site and retake it. But no, they wanted to secure the win as early as possible. And that's how it's done. W streak with a lot of win streaks for their defensive rounds. But at this point, it's a 12-1, a big score gap, Seiya.
Indeed. And of course, winning this round out makes it a 13-1. But you know what we say, Donut? Hold W, spray, and pray. And it works pretty amazing for W Stray right here. But of course, it's not just that. Again, it's really quite evident the amount of synergy that these ladies have as well. I've been emphasizing it for quite a while, and I will say it again. Because the way that they take their fights, the way that they provide information to the team, it's really seen. Because, again, looking at the POV of W Strike whenever we do have the rounds, they've already anticipated their location. And if you remember, when we went into the second half, already Dolph with the headhunter in towards A, if you saw it as well, Donut, she was already pre-aimed there. She was already expecting a flank, and just say, you know what, Cupcake, just stay in this box, stay in this corner, and we can crossfire. And that happened. And of course, looking at the scoreboard right here, Donut, why don't you give us a run through?
Well, as you mentioned, it's the play for information, and KO Nuki with 17 kills and a combat score of 300 just goes to show the confirmation of the kills right after information has been retrieved. And it's not going to be just her that we want to really applaud. It's going to be Dolph as well, with that potential for her to claim these rounds, to snowball the win just by getting the first kill for that round. And looking at the damage, W Streak with 11.6k versus Black Magic, that's a lot. That's a big deficit. But what we can say about Black Magic is that, yes, individually, they're very skilled. That's seen in that headshot percentage at 31.5%, but that's not going to be enough because the wins of win streak really just tumbles in terms of the frag wins. Look at this. 9 frag wins and then 3 objective wins against just 1 of Black Magic. So at least now we know Black Magic, they have to summon something. They have to wish for something because wish is actually part of their team.
I mean, wish upon wish, as you say right there, Donut. But then again, I do not want to, discard Black Magic to say the least, because they did have their own highlights. There were some moments wherein they could have had it, but almost never enough as per Ariana Grande. But then again, right here in towards in terms of presence, to say the least, I do feel like W Strike really is, really there, really proactive for the team. And again, their game sense is something that we should really take into account for their side. For Black Magic, however, I do see the sense of their plan. Having very interesting, having that interesting pistol fight from the second half, and of course them having that late push aggression and the double point from the Wish as well in towards from B to heaven. We do see those points. We do see the initial strategy that could have happened from Black Magic, and you gotta commend it to them as well. The problem, however, is that they kind of get killed so easily, and that plan is not really taken into action. Because if one or two of them like actually dies, it kind of goes in shambles.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, well, what do you have to do if you're in a 4v5? And I think it's also the pressure that is on against them. Because even if one falls down, you're able to turn things around, gather up, regroup. That's something that we want to see at least for the next map. But as you mentioned, almost is never enough, and that's why W Streak is going to win this. But is it gonna be thank you next as well for the team of Black Magic? Because we're going to the second map, which is Haven. So don't go away. We will be right back.
Coming off the bench now. Waiting for this moment, swinging for the fence now. Coming off the bench now. Gotta get up, cause we about to get down. Coming off the bench now. Waiting for this moment, swinging for the fence now. Coming off the bench now. Gotta get up, cause we about to get down. Coming off the bench now. Waiting for this moment, swinging for the fence now. Coming off the bench now. Gotta get up, cause we about to get down. Coming off the bench now. Waiting for this moment, swinging for the fence now. Coming off the bench now. Gotta get up, cause we about to get down. Coming off the bench now. Waiting for this moment, swinging for the fence now. Coming off the bench now. Gotta get up, cause we about to get down. Coming off the bench now. Waiting for this moment, swinging for the fence now. Coming off the bench now. Gotta get up, cause we about to get down. We back again. I'm bouncing up before they count to 10. We back again. Tell your mother, brother, sister, and your friends. We back again. I'm bouncing up before they count to 10. We back again. Tell your mother, brother, sister, and your friends.
And welcome back, everyone, to the Valorant Game Changers APAC Series Last Chance Qualifiers, and we will be your casters for tonight. My name is Xeaora, and with me is Donuts. So earlier we did see a dominating round or game for the side of W Strike Female, getting that 13-1 in their favor. But right now, would Black Magic put their hearts up for game number 3, or would a W Strike Female really get this game number 2 one last time?
I hope they summon up their confidence, because it's definitely needed. Because for the second map, it's actually the selection of W Streak FE. So this is gonna be do or die. Black Magic has had a lot of experience all throughout the days, right? And they don't really have to stop now. We've seen such amazing plays from the likes of 1,000 Miles when it comes to the precision, and when it comes down to Move as the X Factor. We want to see it here in Haven, because even if it's your opponent's pick, you can definitely win this if, of course, number one, your agent composition really counters WSFs, and the second is you're able to pick off Dolph the first time. I mean, Dolph was such a great member of the team, allowing them to really hold up the sights as a chamber, and the pick-off advantage for her, it's always going to be a big chance for a win every time Dolph gets a kill.
I do agree with you on that, but then again, I feel like for Black Magic this time around, you did say earlier before we started the game that in terms of individuality, they do have this stuff, and it was also evident during the headshot percentage. If ever so, that Black Magic is able to find their group and actually, try to glue things together for the team, and not just utilizing them really having such a good aim, but if ever they do also pave the way to really get those utilities going, I feel like this could be a good fight for them against W Straight. But again, Donna, for W Straight, they are quite the titans to really face here. What do you think does Black Magic have to do for them to force out a game 3?
I think there was a lot of times wherein Wish stepped up for the team. Wish has a lot of great plays as a Brimstone, so probably her switching from the Omen to a Brimstone might make all of the difference here, and the use of that Stim Beacon might empower PannyX as that duelist. But it all comes down to whether or not PannyX will use the Jet or the Raze. So the agent selection will really be a big factor to counter W Streak FE, because if a Fade is gonna be played again here, they definitely need a KO to counter all of that utility. As much as it can be shut down, the Fade utilities, it can give more even if it's destroyed. So an initial destruction of that Haunt or that Prowler just really confirms that you're there, and then definitely the awareness of the team of W Streak is on point. Cupcake will always be following through with a kill when a trade is needed, and Dolph as well immediately with that clutch factor. So BMG, they have to step up. It's about Panny X's and Move's duo that we really want to see as well here in the map of Haven.
I really agree with you on that, because both of them are like double duelist, having that kind of lineup here. One can basically go for entry, the other one could either refrag or go for the flank to really watch their backs, because again, we do see some instances where the likes of W Strike Female can really go beyond into being proactive towards the map if ever deemed necessary. So I feel like if they can really turn those cogs for the side of Black Magic to make some spaces around this specific map, I guess it could work for them. But there's another factor that BMG has to take into account as well, is that their post-plant position or their retakes, whichever side that they do, because again, it's quite easy to or at least one of your objectives rather is to plant that spike. The next one is to secure that round, and I feel like watching our Ascent game from earlier, I feel like it's the latter that BMG has having trouble with.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Because even when it comes to the frag wins, it's actually in favor of the team of W Streak. So it all boils down to them successfully planting the spike first. and then following through. The follow-through isn't really seen for the team of BMG, and that's where they really have to step up. And probably the use of the utilities now, I think this is a better selection as compared to Arena, because Move is going to be selecting that Raze, and Sirius is going serious here with that Astra. The ability for her to use the gravity well for the assistance of the team is something that's gonna matter for Haven. But for the side of W Streak FE, we're gonna see Nuki yet again as an initiator, but not as a KO, as the Sky.
This is really an interesting take for both sides of the team. This time around, I am seeing a W Strike female on the utility side, so I feel like they're gonna go for more team-oriented gameplay. For the side of Black Magic, however, I feel like because we do have Move here for the Raze, I do agree with you on that this is more of a viable pick in comparison with the Reyna, because in terms of mobility, we do see a Move using this Raze with a bit more of that, simply because of the satchels as well, and you do have that extra boom bot for information if ever. Penny X, this is interesting. It's been a while actually since I have seen a Phoenix into the play. So they are still going to go for that double duelist lineup, and I'm excited to see how they are going to carry it all out, because we are going to go ahead in towards the action immediately right here with 1,000 miles, already at 82 HP, getting some damage from that fiasco. Rosie already started off taking Candy X down, and let's see how things are going to go here, because they're all going towards a short and long as occupied by WS right now, and that's going to be a beautiful control for Wish here with 41 HP to spare.
Oh, my ball.
But Sight's gonna be there, so it's an opportunity for 1,000 miles to enter, but immediately shut down by Nuki. She even gets a double. Sirius tries her best to get control, but it's definitely lost because of Cupcake. Move is the last person to remain. 2 are low for the side of W Streak, so it's definitely gonna be possible. But shots don't connect just yet with this classic, and she's gonna get smoked out. Rosie's gonna push forward, and Move with that mistake. Now W Streak gets a pistol round.
That was actually good sense for game sense for the side of Rosie. Like, who would have thought? Because you're already in a post-class situation. You can take your time, but Rosie says, no, I want to push that smoke. And coincidentally, you spot out your remaining member alive here, which is Mova. And I feel like Move don't really have much to do at this point here, because okay, let's say that Move was actually able to win that round against Rosie. You have to take note, there are also 2 extra members ready to crossfire. So that is basically a literal W, to say the least, for the pistol round of
Oof, but a W here for 1,000 miles, shutting down Noxy. A gun is down with that headhunter in play. The amount of space controlled here by Black Magic is astounding, actually. It's something that they definitely need. They don't want WSF anywhere near those sites, because at this point, there's a Vandal purchased by Nuki and Dolph, but one is down because Noxy actually fell. 10,000 miles, but Cupcake, are you gonna check your corner? She is, she gets the kill. 20 HP left though, but smokes are gonna be out. What they don't know is Wish is here with a shorty. Just one shot, they might go down and they might fall to their demise, but Dolph is actually, there's a kill behind them, is actually in the smoke. Fatty X falls down. Cupcake is gonna get killed up. That's the beauty of the Sky right there.
Again, because of that utility, it can provide
one enemy remaining
for the crew, and the post-plant position is all the more secured here with only 1,000 miles. See, I mean, to be fair, because of her name, I do like remember that one song. You know, 1,000 miles of love. I don't know if it's but the headhunter does take
one enemy remaining.
The anticipation coming in from 1,000 miles was so powerful.
I really am fantastic.
My gosh, Vanessa Carlton will be so proud because she made her way downtown and she got that last kill. That was just so amazing. amazing from 1,000 miles. I told you the clutch factor for her is there. The opening kill against Noxy, and for her to be able to deliver with this, the third one, even the fourth, the anticipation of that peak for Dolph, and to secure that one. She made her way downtown and she secured the win.
Walking past places fast and homebound. But right now we are seeing
I need blocking vision.
morale boost for the side of BMG because they kind of needed any miraculous rounds to do that. And the way and the timing coming in from 1,000 miles as well is something I have to take into account. So right now we do see a little bit of a peak there. 1,000 miles
down,
taking
C.
down.
Out of
It's
range.
also going to be the spike. Most notified the message as well. But 1,000 miles for another year trying to take
remaining.
control of the situation as Patty X as well shuts down Rosie and Nuki. We do see the one winnow live, but not going to be as 1,000 miles takes 3.
And that was a flawless one. That's what they need. It's the morale boost after 1,000 miles gets the ace and the clutch. And this round, now everybody's playing forward. Everybody's playing out for the trade. And even blind there, 1,000 miles secures that kill. And as you mentioned, a play for the Phoenix here in Maven isn't that much viable. But if you have that in the hands of Penny X, timing from Sirius as well to peek out. This is the team play that we want to see from Black Magic.
Scanning ahead.
That's really short. Now that was a nice concuss coming in, but the thing is, I feel like not seeing the gang wanted to late push, which is what's happening right now because they do have the option rush after. So right now, Witch, however, was able to take one only for Nuki to get another. It's gonna be flash in from Dolph right here, but Stray picking it up.
One enemy remaining.
Kill, but the double crossfire from Dolph and Cupcake cleans it all up and making it Sirius's play potentially. This is going to be a bit difficult as there are 2 people from Hell, and it only takes for one of them to identify Sirius's location, but that's gonna be one though that we don't know.
Unfortunate, she checked all of her corners except for the one that was needed. Cupcake, however, was so low, so the potential for the clutch could have happened. It's just that with the tremendous amount of pressure, you won't really get to check all the corners. But I loved what happened here as well for Dolphin as well as Cupcake. It was a trade for trade, but immediately they didn't really want to plant the spike just yet. They wanted to clear the whole of the site to make sure that BMG won't really play these tricks against them. And that's why they got the win.
Get out of my way! And I feel like this is the good part as well for WS is that they can catch up to whatever losses that they have. But again, you have to see 1,000 miles but look at that beautiful making there for the side of Cupcake's paranoia as Dolph and the gang was able to take 2, making it into a 3v4 scenario. They're tour de force from 1,000 miles. They now know where she is, and it all just, just takes that double peak to happen, which I think DNC will attempt to do, but they are flashed here, trying to get as much utilities as possible here for the side of WSF. But security, they do know that that's going to be a bit of a whiff, but 1,000 miles. That are you with for another one?
Last player standing.
Oh, flat, but the one of course. 5,000 miles was just too soon. Did you see that, Donut? A quick change from the rifle to the tour de force real quick?
Yeah, I mean, you wouldn't really want to use a rifle at that point, right? From a rifle to a tour de force, if I've already gotten that kill, quick switch and a quick kill as well. And 1,000 miles is showing up. The way that Dolph performed in Ascent is how we expect 1,000 miles to play. It started out with that flank, successfully getting a kill. The rest of the members of W Streak, they were so distracted by that flank. And once everybody else came in and came forward through CT, it wasn't something that they could control anymore. And with how fast 1,000 miles was able to gain ground as well towards the site to secure those kills with the tour de force, that just means the awareness, the communication for Black Magic is really on point here in Haven.
I mean, that made W Straight go for a timeout, and as early as this, it only means that W Straight literally wants to tie up the points or even go beyond in comparison, or they don't really want to falter off, because we're seeing it now. If 1,000 Miles and the gang is able to pop off, this could really go for more rounds than anticipated. But however, what I can say for the side of Black Magic here is that I feel like they shouldn't depend too much for the side of 1,000 Miles. Because think about it, if we did see, if 1,000 Miles is taken down at the early phases of the game, it may give the other members quite the difficulty, because the utilities that 1,000 Miles is dishing out for the team is becoming their like beacon, or their drone to locate or get that information going.
And I think it's also the mastery of the true to force, right? After a kill, you're slowed down, and immediately that's the action that 1,000 Miles takes. You're not going anywhere, so I'm gonna secure the kill. And that's what we want to see from 1,000 Miles as well, because previously, at least for other maps, she plays the Sova, she plays an Initiator, but as a Chamber, we're seeing her really pop off and show up. Wish has taken ground here, but I'm not too sure if Winstreak actually knows this. Wish takes one down. Immediate throws in the recombo to try and secure, but she actually misses another one. But B is already secured by W Streak. Nuki gets one. X is out of the way. Copycake does secure the kill. And they rotate immediately to A. If you guys have the guns, then we're gonna run away from you, secure this spike plant, but at least Dolph has actually picked up this rifle.
This could be a potential 3v2 clutch, but then again, we still do not want to, neglect the capabilities of Mova as well, despite having 5 HP in the team. And of course, we also do have a serious end wish for their utility usage as well. That could be a quick move right here, and don't make it one. Not gonna be another as Mova from A long takes Cupcake and Wish for the trade. This is the refrag that we've been looking for Black Magic.
Yeah, the play for time, the play for care actually paid really a big round for them, because that, even if that was just a save round for the team of WSF, they don't really want to gain that much of a lead. They want to go further, and that's what they did. And with them just playing it slow, that allowed them that chance to take the defense of that spike one by one. They were so careful. And the trade after trade is something that we noted, right? That wasn't really there in the map of Ascent. Now that it's here in Haven, it's looking like it's a closer match.
Right now, Dolph here really starting this off.
You should run.
Down, which is your ideal as well. A lot of utility being dished out here. Noxy this time around not taking any more chances and shuts down 1,000 Miles. The lockdown is there, but look at that. Because of that lockdown, it made them go to A, but that was just a diversion. That was just noise there. Rosie as well. The place and taking herself towards that's going to be the graph in there. Taking it a little bit to the left, but Nuki still gets the job done as she takes the Wish down at the gate as well. Inwards, the round was able to put her hand.
Last player standing.
But Nuki fast on her hand was able to on the corner. The double P coming in. They do know where Sirius is now, so I think a flash perhaps from Nuki. Oh, there's no flash anymore. I feel like it's just more of a waiting game for them right now. And at the point, double P plus 3K from Nuki makes things quite closer for this round.
I think you've also noted with Nuki shots, they've been so pristine, it's so clean towards the head. I mean, even when it comes down to releasing the guiding light or even the trailblazer, her ability to just take control of her crosshair, it's always gonna be on point, and that's also the one of the winning factors here for Ascent. But here in Haven, it makes all the sense to provide assistance and to provide support through the frags delivered by Nuki.
I mean, I did see the attempt for Sirius from earlier. She does know where Nuki was at, but the timing as well from Rosie, I think, one of the things that made them win the rounds. But to start things off right here already, Cupcake and the gang to shut down 1,000 miles. That is already the name of their game here. Donut, as we have anticipated. Again, they do not really want to depend too much on 1,000 miles because this is what happens. They are already in seaside once again.
Spike
and
planted.
Notice how a bit delayed the pushes are coming from W Strake.
Yeah, I mean, in terms of the choices of their defense, it's as if they're playing the default. For each of the entry points, you have one. But that's not going to be the case if you're against W Streak. You really have to be playing together. And even for this retake, Move is moving all alone. There is that curveball. But still, the curveball is Move's because she gets the kill. They try to peek out. But that Blaze isn't gonna give you cover because Yuki is here from behind to get the kill, and now it's an even scoreline of 4-4. Immediately, W Streak 4-2 for W Streak FE.
That was so smart. We have this replay right here already. Cupcake, moving that plan happen. Then again, Muva was there in towards Dice, but the positioning of W Strake female, it's as if it was a sandwich. Two people from Ceylon, two people already flanking all the way towards City. It's something that you gotta take consideration of because the time out, to say the least, for the side of WS, I feel like it worked for them because it kind of made them think, okay, let's sit down for a bit. They're trying to identify any pattern that's coming in from BMG.
And I think the pattern is well read. Because they just really want to shut down 1,000 miles. They want to figure out where he is because look at the damage he's already done. One kill with that Marshall, but eventually traded out by Nuki and Cupcake. Now they have A. The spike will be a little bit late, but there is an incoming flank here by Wish. Cupcake does TP on top of the box just to probably figure out if there's one really waiting there by CT. But what they don't know is actually Wish's flank. There's no trap anymore. Cosmic Divide is online, but that might be a disadvantage for Wish. Dolph and Cupcake for the crossfire, but the shots don't connect. It's actually Dolph to get one. The body of Penny X. But there's gonna be a round 2. Nuki, it's serious. And Wish is actually there to get the trade. Cupcake takes one down. It's up to Penny X. She gets one, but Dolph gets the win. It's a 5-4 now. W Streak. Let's get these idiots.
That was an interesting call for the side of BMG. As you mentioned it, Donut, the Cosmic Divide coming in from Sirius didn't really work out for Wish. Because it narrowed down the vision that could have come from Wish, identify their location. Another thing is that it kind of paved the way for W Strake to use that as a temporary terrain to literally isolate the fight, as you have seen. And you know, Penny didn't have much to do at that point as well, simply because again, gun difference. She only had the sheriff to work with, and that the crossfire capabilities as well.
The crossfire of W Streak, even if of course Black Magic was on a save, right? The spending that run it back actually helped. It gave them that information. That was also the recon bolt because Wish couldn't really throw in utilities. She didn't have the drone. She probably had the recon bolt, but if she threw it, it would give away her position. So that run it back was actually that that recon bolt or that recon bolt that they used. So that was already information for Sirius where Cupcake was. But Dolph never actually moved a muscle. She was there to secure the round, really. And that's what the timing really has to be. The team play for WS right after that timeout you mentioned was just really something else that delivers WS these wins that we definitely want to see.
I agree with you on that. By her fellow teammates, then again, this is fine. As a little and I'm not. And again, this is going to be a free like once again. This is the end time. I'm quite already wondering as to why there aren't
Look at that.
from BNG who's in C. And again, one by one, mannerisms there once again. Rosie is C there as well. Recon Bolt to be denied. One more left. And again, the sandwich position from the side of W Strike is really working out for them because at this point, they number one that I see here, Donut, is that he is not that heavily guarded. Number two, we do see the habit of peeking one by one over here. I mean, they already got the retrack from the early phases of the game, so this kind of piques my interest as to why this happened. And
I think that
go for it.
Yeah, I think the pincer came late actually, because it was Panny X and as well as Wish, but they were so late to the party that even Move and 1,000 Miles they were caught off guard by Nuki just facing forward because Move actually used the showstopper for that round, but she was immediately shut down, so they thought that the showstopper would scare them, but no, WSF they pressed W either way.
Yes. I will agree with you. That is also a good point as well. But I feel like it could have been a different scenario if you did say, right, that others were free. If they did
Spike down, attacker spawn.
It could have been a different story. But right now we're seeing some magic
Revealing
here
area.
as Wish starts
There
things
they
off
are.
with that Marshall kill. And that recon level was so useful. It was able to set up what. Because right now, it's only dropped to the right of the street and from the back side of the lockdown placed by Rosie as well is going to be another pen in towards the side. We do know that there is presence.
Come here.
And that lockdown gave them a lot of space and a lot of time. And Wish is gonna come from garage, but they're all looking at angles that would secure them this win. Look at this, the first kill goes to Dolph, and even confirming that there's gonna be one there by CT. Immediately rendezvous away. Are you gonna save this round? He has to do the force, she has to do the force, and Yuki shuts her down. Wish with the Marshall, still delivering the kills, but to deliver the win, Dolph secures her third. W streak FE
Last round
so
in the half.
close to really getting that 4-point lead.
I mean, it was a very nice, plan for the side of SF.
Standing.
And the way that we see the idea once again, but for the way that W Strike positions themselves, knowing that okay, there is presence towards City again as well in garage. Have to take note of this, and I feel like my way is actually prepared for those fights because the crosshairs are already in line with whichever entry the remaining members of BMG has to go. So right now, a little bit of pace here as we try to see an attempt from WSF to go towards A.
Yeah, the slowdown really just props up that Hunter's Fury, but no kill. But a tag is there, but the kills are in favor of Sirius as she peeks out. But careful about Dolph though. She was just waiting there, and Wish just fell behind. But what they don't know is Move is actually third in this position, and this might be what will make them this win. But she peeked out prematurely, and Yuki was so ready for her. And
remaining.
she uses the curveball, but doesn't really blind Dolph. That's why she gets a double with the Blade Storm. And an 8-4 for this
Switching
half.
sides.
W streak from BMG getting a lot of rounds in their favor. I mean, that timeout went in their favor.
Literally, W Streak really creating a statement into that capital W at this moment. Imagine being able to tone down a bit, really get game, and now turning things around only goes to show that anything can happen. However, though, Donut, I do not want to discard the potential of Black Magic really trying to get those points somehow just yet, simply because we saw some highlights, especially in the very early phases of the game. Imagine 1,000 Miles just being able to position herself in a good time as well, really getting those aces, really getting those 4Ks. But then the problem is here, because 1,000 Miles is killing for the team. It made WSF think twice that, okay, maybe we kind of need to shut her down. And that's where things started to crumble for the side of BMT. If you notice, they weren't given a round to win ever since that timeout from WSF.
I mean, after that timeout, they just really played the default. They played it slow. Because W Streak FE, they were playing these fast rounds, and immediately Black Magic knew that they just really needed to hold the sights down. And when they had a lot of those successes, a change of pace just brought them that waterfall of wins. And that's what we really want to see in terms of a response for the attack, right? At least get more of these rounds in attack just gives you the favor, because on the defense, you can either hold down the sights, because Rosie is going to be playing as the Killjoy. We all know her to be a lockdown in itself. If she plays a sight, she uses all of her utilities so well that nobody can even pass through. And that's what's gonna be tricky for Black Magic. If they shut down Rosie, then there is a chance and a glimmer of hope for them to win this map. But as you mentioned, 1,000 Miles doesn't really have to carry the weight. It also has to be spread out to the other members as well. Sirius had her moments wherein there was definitely a clutch potential, but the follow-through wasn't just really there. I think really the pressure is getting to them. But if they return to that mental state when they were winning those rounds, especially after 1,000 Miles got the win, it's possible, because they're on attack. They have the Phoenix as well on Panny X, and a Phoenix on attack gives them that advantage. Curveball, the blaze for cover, even the run it back as a form of a recon for their sight takes.
I mean, I will agree with you on that. And then again, the interesting part here is that the choice of Phoenix. And then we have mentioned this, especially into their agents, like that. Phoenix in general is, I feel like it's not yet there in towards our tiers, in whenever is being used, especially in the likes of Haven, because of
Placing swarm grenade.
Limit. To say the least, in terms of the skill sets, it doesn't really quite complement the map, unless, of course, you do some miraculous and full-on aggressive play. Right now, for their second half, we do see that they have spot up Move in the base site, or near Garden, and that's the ping as uses a little bit of Move here. And I like it again, however, the discipline of WS of not being, overextended into their map.
Yeah, and I like the repositioning of the sky as well. But Rosie, what were you doing? She definitely figures out that Wish is gonna be there, but Move with an instant trade at least against Dolph. So Duelist versus Duelist is down. But I gotta mention the rotation there for Nuki to try and assist the members if and when there is going to be a push. Noxie's gonna peek out, a little bit of damage done, but still they haven't moved a muscle. It's gonna be a blind here. Curveball is in, but 1,000 Miles takes down her Sentinel opponent. Nuki and Noxie, they're making a way for this hold up the side. They're still delivering the kills. 2v1. We can do this. And 1,000 Miles is all alone. She gets a kill, and Nuki wins it anyway. W Streak, they're really on a roll.
Literally. And of course, that W Spray and Spray, again, quite evident. You know what? The difference is their aim is actually on point here. And we do see again,
Enemy remaining.
or actually double specifically in the likes of Noxie and Nuki in this scenario. A little bit of a jiggle, it folds, over there, but then again, we do see Nuki still winning it off. So it's really a good start for the side of WSF, but do take note that both sides of our team did win their respective pistol rounds, but up to what extent, now a little bit of a full aggression from Dog. Right, out to use the dash to go to safety. I do like that call because she may be stuck there if she does choose to stay. So right now they are eyeing up for time. So I feel like all of those fiasco was just again noise for them to have more space into a site that they are eyeing on.
It's all a distraction, but Noxy anticipates 1,000 miles. Where are you going? You're going so far. But Penny X, she just immediately takes it out. I mean, we cannot really deny the prowess of these ladies with these guns. But with the buys of the Spectre for Nuki, she delivers the kill. And here, she gets the kill and gets the double actually. And now they're on their 10th. The mountain is getting higher to climb.
I saw that, though. A little bit of a spray, crouch, and then move a little bit forward. Yeah, we saw that. But you know what? It was great because it worked in her favor. Dolph being able to see that potential, lineup there because we saw Move and Wish really in a linear line towards C-Link. That was the perfect way to spray transfer. And you notice the priority as well in terms of who to spray down first. It was basically Move, which is in a more closer range that deals more damage, and followed by Wish, who unfortunately was whiffing at that time for the attempted crossfire. So, or retake rather, or refrag rather. So right now, it's getting a little, as you say, it is a mountain to climb for the side of BMG, but I feel like BMG would, might want to make some noise for themselves.
I mean, in terms of the noise though, they've cut it out. At least here, they've been wanting to get A control consecutively after the pistol round and even when it comes to the bonus. But Cupcake here initially uses the paranoia, but it didn't hit Penny X. She gets the kill. Wish, however, she wishes to get a kill. Somebody really looking behind, but her battle is seen, and surprise, surprise, it's gonna be Nuki to bring her down. Unfortunate turn of events, though.
Very unfortunate, as that could have been, well, it could have worked. But then again, the gun was witnessed there, and I think about that's something, that anticlimactic way to die. That 1,000 miles, they just rode off the angle, but Skull is there for the trade. It's gonna be 12,000 miles.
One enemy remaining.
Richard, that's gonna be Noxy for the trade, but and again this time around, position-wise, BMG did have the upper hand, and this could be the start, of something new.
Yeah, it's gonna be the start of the climb of the mountain, right? 5 more rounds. But as you mentioned, you take it round after round. And the change of pace here for Black Magic on attack as well really helped out, especially they don't really want to give away those guns. With Wish there, with an anticlimactic death against Nuki, that was something that they really want to veer away from. They don't want to make these mistakes and give the
Let's play.
Because if you make these mistakes, it's gonna be over. Like these, Dolph, she's gonna have the first laugh against Move, getting that kill with an operator.
To be fair, though, we did see Move already try change her crosshair placement from a long to a short, but then again, she was a millisecond too late to really try to get that fire going, or to get that shot going, as Dolph was already prepared, already anticipated the presence in towards a garden rather. But right now, again, we are witnessing this once more. Look at that drone will be spotting her out one, and that's going to be trying to get out, keep herself over again. The flash shots out with
one enemy remaining.
Now it's a beautiful smoke kill again from that corner. Throwing up and down. That's a whiff and serious, making things really serious here. That's going to be concussed. However, that's also going to be the trailblazer for extra concussion. Beautiful usage of skill. That's a rather from the team, garnering their 11th point now.
You mentioned something in Ascent, right? The anticipation of the team of where their opponents will be. And that's gonna be the case for Nuki here. When she got that second kill, she wanted more. And confirming that the position where Sirius was, right? They didn't really want to back down anymore. They wanted to establish their dominance. Their dominance is seen. And BMG, they're calling for a timeout, but it's also high time because 2 points in, W Streak will get the win. But I mean, BMG, they still have a chance with 1,000 miles performance here on attack. Look at this. She has 19 kills.
Indeed.
But for the rest of the members, it has to also be sprinkled across to Sirius, to Wish, to Move, and Panny X. And Panny X also has her run it back ready. So this might be something that they're planning around and using for this round.
I mean, I agree as well. And again, it's really quite evident. I mean, as much as we don't want to really point that out, they do have to not be too dependent too much on 1,000 miles. I mean, yes, 1,000 miles does have the capability to clutch things out and to really try to take a feel of the whole scenario in general. But if we do not really see any, refrag capabilities from them or utility usage from them, I feel like it's going to be difficult for them once, as the game progresses.
You're dead!
I feel like it's a little bit earlier just for them to, try to sort things out more polished. But then again, that's going to be a scenario from over there. That's the showstopper of many, but with the quick audio cue, 3 of them goes back. This is a scenario though as 1,000 miles go from above with the op now going to be denied. This is natural as well, but they do know that he is there to the taking. And right now, as I said, Yuki takes one for the that's the big flash for the they were coming behind will take Noxy down. He's only up to Yuki to make things work. But not enough to isolate the fight as BMG takes Thrifty.
2 ultimates used for that round. The first one was the run it back, immediately shut down there by Rosie. But the second one was all that mattered. It was that showstopper thrown by Move. It brought the rest of the members of W Streak away from the site. It gave them the space to plant and to reposition for that one. So that's why there was a timeout, because there were small mistakes that W Streak really made for that one. They had all of the guns, but they gave it away to BMG. And at this point, the timeout for Black Magic, it definitely worked. But Panny X's, our expectation for Panny X to deliver the kills after the run it back wasn't really seen. It's 1,000 miles and Wish who actually delivered for that round. So this is something that's do or die. I mean, the pressure is also on for W Streak because they don't want to really give these rounds away to Black Magic anymore. Because if we get to Breeze, it's a 50-50 chance of winning.
Yes, and I feel like, again, for W Streak female, they do want to really, take this as a sweep. I mean, of course, who wouldn't want, to really get those games going into their favor, right? But I feel like if Black Magic does, capitalize on this current these current wins that they have, I feel like this could prolong a bit more. Then again, you gotta consider the adaptability that is coming in from WSF. These ladies, again, if you give a certain amount of time to learn your pattern, they will learn it and they will counter it. As right now, this time around, however, we do see BMG trying, attempt as well the same effect into getting C-Long. It was a free sight, to say the least, and now the C-Long retake into the half, and not sure if they do see Wish from the flank, however, but Yuki takes one down. That's going to be the place from once again to battle, but because the Seekers really much helpful in getting those intel, but with the shopper from behind, already know that there is a flank now being watched by Dog and the gang, but right now we do see Wish making the headshot clear of the road to the down.
One enemy remaining.
Can clean it up, taking the 7th pointer, denying match point from WSS.
Wish had a great timing there, shutting down Dolph with the Blade Storm. The use of the Rolling Thunder was great intent, but it didn't really deliver what they wanted. The smokes come in for Cupcake, allowing them cover, but this one was what made them win that round. The rest of the members there were so distracted about Wish that they didn't really care to look long. Panix and Sirius was there to deliver the kills, and it was just really a firing squad for the duo.
Again, I do agree with you as well. Wish's presence from Garage was enough to really, rattle the members of WSF into really, retracting or
You want to fight it?
For now. And because of that, it kind of made them change to wherever they're supposed to initially look at. That's going to be the cosmic divide in towards the end.
Careful now.
But then again,
Spike planted.
lockdown as well. Your laser source of information spots out one in hell. Uses probably Nikki Sky for some amount of information as the cosmic spike goes out. Done. Well, Rosie here tries to enter in. Will spot out another correctly and then sneak into a cloud.
One enemy remaining.
Are happening. Rosie with a 3. Is this going to be it? Is this their match point this time around? But naked, staying alive. That's not enough. And Dolph here secures it for their 12th point.
Oh my gosh, that round! It was so nail-biting. When it came down to the retake, it was the paranoia coming in, Cupcake with an initiation. But Rosie making sure, are they blind? Are they blind? And then yes, Rosie got 3 for that retake. And if you have a Sentinel leading the charge for the retake, it means she's safe and secure with her teammates. And that's the confidence that we love to see from W Streak. BMG, they fell down one by one because they did not anticipate that type of coordination for that retake.
Truly. And for the side of WSF, of course, winning condition, just another round, win it. For the side of BMG, they have to find their way to really close out these rounds because planting the spike is one thing, but securing the round is another. And I feel like they're having trouble as well because look at that. Okay, Dolph was able to really get some damage here. Really filling them up. But of course, Mofal was able to close behind him. Now not to be another though. But Nuki, again, from the other side of the map, it takes 1,000 miles down. So they've taken Wish and 1,000 miles as well, who has been really doing stuff for the team.
And that's confirmation. Rosie is down. There's no more guarding this A site. It was just definitely given away. That was good intent for her. She got 1. But here for the retake,
Joke's
it's
over.
gonna be
You're dead.
Cupcake. Ooh, Panny X actually uses the run it back. Where are you going, good ma'am? Cupcake, there's gonna be a shutdown of that ultimate. Dolph is still looking, but Move is looking at the ground. She gets the 4K. Doesn't get the ace, but it's okay. Panny X to deliver the last blow. And that's them being alive. 8 to 12. They're closing in the gap.
Closing in the gap slowly but surely here, Donut. But then again, that was a bit of a close call for Mouvet back there. Wasn't able to see Rosie from the behinds, but because 1,000 miles is there as well to at least see the distraction, it was enough for Mouvet to actually take the kill down. And it went into her favor a lot more when it was the time where it was the post plant for them and a retake for the side of WSF. But right now, Panny X in this fight, starting it off by
I have this right here.
That's a good spot.
That's what we want, right? Dolph being shut down with that operator is something that we want to see. But now that BMG, they're gonna be ready for this. Move yet with another showstopper. Is it gonna deliver? It doesn't. A great line and timing for them not to get the kill, but eventually Sirius gets the job done with a 3K and Patty X yet again to secure that. An almost flawless one. Move is the only one to go down. And 3 is the score that we want to get in terms of the lead, right? BMG, they're getting it closer and closer.
Backseat of your rover, but then again, right now, I feel like WSF is literally in the backseat of our car because they are having a little bit of trouble closing out these fights right here, Donut. And because of that, BNG is just utilizing or capitalizing whatever round that they can get at this point. That then maybe they can use this amount of momentum to force an overtime. But at this point, until that's not the case, of course, when W Strike female is going to really target that match point. Right now, Move, I'm not sure if she was able to spot out Noxie, but that is enough of information that to say that, oh, okay, there are people in towards sewers.
It was actually just Dolph spotted. That's why immediately Noxie wanted to reposition so that a blind or a fault line can actually be of use for Dolph in that situation. Immediately, Move just gives away that space, but it's gonna be Cupcake with a paranoia play. There's a Nebula down, but the stars don't really align. It's actually Patty X to deliver the kill, but they're waiting for Cupcake. He's blind, she's blind, and Patty X gets the kill. Nuki, however, it's a job done, taking down the duelist. Nuki yet again with a Trailblazer. Where are they? She knows that Garage is closed. And Dolphy here gets the first kill, uses the Cloud Burst to isolate that duel. But Nuki and Noxie, they're the ones to get the kills. And it's down to 1,000 miles. She gets one, the Rolling Thunder in her face. But the defuse is also there. It's already been hacked, and Noxie gets the kill anyway. W Streak, FE. W Streak as well with a 2-0 for the series.
W Streak. Beautiful victory from their side. You see that team from Noxie? And again, I would like to just, really tone down, or break down, there you go, what happened from the last round. So, we do see a 3v2 scenario from back there, right? Between BNG and, of course, WSF. That was already a smart play wherein Nuki uses the Trailblazer to see if Garage is clear, which is good. Instead of them splitting themselves together, they decided, okay, let's all enter towards City. And that was good enough to isolate the fight, not really giving any more space for the side of BMG to really get another round for them. And just like that, W Strike survives and is still advancing to our bracket.
Yeah, that was such a great round to end everything. I mean, it was 1,000 miles. Her clutch potential is actually very, very high. But at that point, she was actually rotating. She had intention to go to Garage, but it was too late. Noxie just delivered that blow, and with the use of the Rolling Thunder, right? If you think it's gonna be your last round, well, very well make sure to win it with just a Rolling Thunder for one person, because 1,000 miles is actually the MVP for Team Black Magic. But on the other side is Nuki, and she's really on fire and really on a roll, delivering 29 kills and a combat score of 350.
It is a Nuki day for us, as both of the games, actually, Nuki is the MVP, and it is above 300 of ACS, and of course, this is also, wouldn't be possible without the help of their teammates here. For the side of WSF, Dolph as well has been doing so good in attempts to getting those information as well. Cupcake, Rosie, and Noxie with their utilities to just try and maintain things and keeping things grounded for them is all the better. But right now, looking at the scoreboards right here, Dona, we do see everything in leaning towards WSF, but except for the objective wins in which both are tied. But look at that, the huge difference this time around from game number 1. Earlier, Donut, we saw BMG with the 30% more of a headshot, but right now it's just all WSF.
I think the headshot percentage was brought about by Nuki and Noxie, because Nuki had a lot of headshots because of all those that she threw through the smoke, right? I mean, she got all of those. She was really on point, and Noxie, at the very end of the day, she was delivering the numbers for the headshots as well. That duel between the two just really is unstoppable for W Streak, and as we see here, even for 1,000 miles for this round, this is really one of the highlights. Her delivering that making her way downtown to get the kill and the ace. But unfortunately, it wasn't just enough. There were signs of life for Black Magic, a little bit of magic seen here by Panny X and the rest of the members getting these kills. But that's gonna be shut down there by Nuki. That was a showstopper play for them for the retake. But if you also have these members from WSF showing up, like Dolph with an operator, or Dolph with her spray down to the Spectre, you would really see that the W is in their side.
And look at that. Just, knowing that there are more people that anticipated to play those mobiles. But then again, you can also see from the side of BNG, at least for this game number 2, that they do have highlights of their own. We did see other members, other than 1,000 Miles, making things a bit more feasible for them, to say the least. But I feel like it was a tad bit too late for them to really catch up on towards that score. But then again, I'm pretty sure this is not the end for Black Magic, as maybe we get to see them again sometime in the future tournaments to go. But right now, W Streak Female is able to secure their spot for the lower bracket.
I mean, a good game, well played for the team of W Streak FE. I mentioned that Dolph is going to be somebody consistent for the team. Dolph is usually a Sova player when she joins a team, but her as a Jet and as well as a Chamber in the map of Ascent really gives them that advantage. The first kill always going to be in her favor, and with the Blade Storm in Haven, she was very, very much on point. As well as for the members, the trio, right? For W Streak FE, we talk about Rosie, we talk about Noxy, and we talk about Nuki. They're the reasons why they're advancing to this match, and we're still waiting for whoever they will come against for tomorrow. But now that they're getting closer and closer to getting that spot, I feel like they're also experiencing the jitters.
Indeed, I mean, at this point, it's as we really progress in towards our brackets, it's all the more intense and really nerve-wracking. But you know what, at the end of the day, it's about which team really gets to really calm themselves down and to really have that mental state as well, to really be prepared for each and every fight that they will face here, for them to really deserve those placements. But right now, this is the journey of our respective teams, and on the upper bracket, we do see X and X10S to be facing them off. Them will be having a face-off very soon, but this is going to be the schedule for tomorrow's matches. Game number 1, we do see WSF versus to whoever loses the upper bracket, which is X10S and of course X.
Well, that's what we want to see, right? I mean, if you're gonna cast game number 2, that's gonna be something of what do you call that? A tongue twister. Because actually, the whole team name of X is X Team BO. So if you're gonna say X10 and X Team, that's gonna be something quite scary. I think there was a little bit of banter between the casters there, because it's gonna be Sleepy and Quack to actually be casting those games. So I hope you guys are ready. We're actually quite ready to see as well what's gonna happen tomorrow. Another do or die set of matches. Saya, what are your last words in terms of expectations for tomorrow's fiery games?
I feel like it's gonna be very close. I mean, I'm calling it for you guys for Sleepy and Crack. I feel like it's gonna be close fights, I mean, caster's curse here. But then again, of course, that has been it for both of us. And of course, on behalf of Donut, again, we would like to thank you guys so much for tuning in to the intense games we brought to you by our teams as well. And of course, this has been the Valorant Game Changers Asia Pacific Series for the Last Chance Qualifiers. Again, my name is Saya, and with me is Donut, and we wish you a good night.
10 seconds left. One enemy remaining. Spike down. One enemy remaining. Spike. One enemy remaining. One enemy remaining.
defender